Um, so a conversation I kind of want to go to is the conversation of like what makes a good stylist. We kind of touched on it a bit earlier, but obviously we were talking earlier about the comments from Willy and all those kind of things. So maybe you could like mention some of that, and then we can kind of have a discussion about what was said based on a one granary discussion.
Yeah, so the one granary was talking about how easy is the profession of a stylist right now, and that of course the people that are working in the industry many years already, they don't give much space for younger people. But that's, I think, everywhere is like that.
Yeah,
All industries are like this, creative or not, because people are egoistic and sometimes jealous, and sometimes they're just, it's just they don't want to give, space for anybody else. But that's part of the thing everywhere. But so it was about this, and then his comment, William Cult's comment, was very interesting because he was saying he has styling students where he teaches them also about styling, and he discovered that there are so many that they would do much better. And I mean, there is a lot of, how to say, places where stylists can work finally, not necessarily in fashion per se or in editorials and consulting, but they can also work, as we were saying, in music industry, costumes for, film industry, celebrities, and all these kind of things. So he was suggesting his students to think out of the box in that sense, that, or some they might even make great, he was saying, art directors. They might end up being very good in visual researching, much more than styling, which is also an interesting distinction. I mean, a stylist can be also a creative director sometimes, depending like how much
yeah.
of the vision he or she holds for the total project. But it was interesting. He was saying that I think he was suggesting that they're not that, it's difficult to be a great stylist actually, and it needs to be in your blood. It needs to be something that is very like, it's your medium is clothes, and you should be able to use it as an art form, like, and express yourself through that. And he was
100%.
giving some points where he was saying a great stylist is somebody who can help an uninspired photographer sometimes, who can turn upside down a whole collection, like even a bad collection, support it from a designer to make it, to bring it to a higher ground. And somebody, I think he meant altogether somebody influential, who can create impact, visual impact, so even change the way people dress. I think this is too complicated to, I don't know if we can do this anymore, like if stylists can have that impact that they used to have in the past, because we have so much information through the social media, through all the micro influencers and people that talk about clothes, even though very often they're clueless. It dilutes
Yeah.
everything. And then at the same time, I would say, I mean, styling in a way at this point, even magazines are not that more much for the consumer, I would say. They're much more for the creative industries. Somehow it's like,
Would you say that? Because I
I
think
don't know, I'm confused a little bit about this, to
yeah,
be
the
honest.
mainstream magazines, I genuinely don't know. Like I was looking at just before we got on this. I was looking at, I'll share it on the screen. I was looking at this editorial, right? Like Bad Bunny did
Yeah,
this editorial in Vogue. And I
yeah,
just don't like this is basically what styling is now, especially for the big magazines. It's like the blueprint that they use for every single.
yeah.
I kid you not, some of the images were the exact same images. I actually need to put it on the screen just so you can
Yeah,
see.
please do.
Like from the Timothy Chalamet shoot, some of the ideas are exactly the same. Like the whole like sort of like Michael Highs like in empty space sort of idea, like this kind of look is
Okay.
basically
A shadow.
so it's
What's
just
that?
like they don't even
Yeah.
like
Yeah, there's no
like
effort.
editorial to
Yeah.
editor, they're not even trying to do anything creative. They're just using the same idea and just changing like the talent.
Yeah, so okay,
Like
oh, no,
leaning on
I
the
agree.
car
Mm-mm.
in a desert. Like how many times have we seen this?
Groundbreaking. Yeah, this is
So sometimes I see it and I don't even know who it's for at this point.
yeah, that's the thing. Okay, it's not for the industry. I agree with you. It's not for creatives, but is it for the consumer as well? I wonder. Is it?
I wonder if like the typical Bad Bunny fan, if they look at this and they're inspired. That's what I want to know.
Probably not. So for who
Yeah.
is that? And in my opinion, even if it's for the consumer, I don't think that it's the consumer that should guide. the aesthetic, but the other way around. You should not impose, but show to the consumer what should they be doing or what they should be aspiring to. Like creative should not, like it's not that okay, the consumer, but the consumer is clueless most of the time. Like the average person doesn't know anything about fashion. How is this person going to guide you in creating something? In any case, they will not understand. So you should inspire something in them at least.
Yeah.
Or if you don't, then what's the point? To show them what? Like it becomes like they can go to the store and see the clothes and buy, a pair of trousers. And why you should do an editorial about it if they really want to do that? Like to go and buy, a jacket and a pair of pants. They can go to the store. There is a vitrine. You choose, you buy. That's it. What I really don't know for who is that. Even for the consumer, like who relates to this? It's
Like
an
I'm
interesting
saying,
question.
so that's why I said I genuinely, and maybe people
Yeah,
in the comments can say, but I genuinely
yeah,
sometimes wonder who this stuff is for. Because like even, I was looking at these because they came out today, but like even
yeah.
Alex Consani, for example, they're running this whole story about like how Alex Consani is the model of our moment, which I do agree with. She's
Ah,
like
me too, me too. I love her. Yeah.
super
She's fantastic. Yeah,
influential.
yeah,
The fact that like she's one of the first trans women to be a model and like make it this far, all this sort of stuff. And I'm
yeah.
like, this kind of interesting story, and the best they can come up with is just, her lying down with the Celine belt and jeans and a white shirt on a bed. Like it's just like Dario Vitale's Versace, which I like. It looks cool in editorials, but what does the image actually say in a sense of like storytelling, in a sense of like interesting image making, in a sense of the story that they're actually sharing, which is like how far she's come as a model. How do any of these images speak to that?
Zero. There is
And this is
nothing,
what I mean about the like image making, the styling at these like big magazines. It's just so lackluster. I don't even know where to begin with it.
Yeah, I guess it's what I was telling you, this trend that, is like she's sitting somewhere wearing a pair of jeans and like, what we're going to recreate what? Like the beginning of 90s, we want to go into that kind of minimalism. I think it doesn't make any sense at all. Like that at that time, it was revolutionary, it made sense you have to put it in the context. To do that again for what? Like, what is it saying? And this thing also with fashion repeating itself sometimes, it's like autistic. What is it gonna say if you recreate that kind of, early Kate Moss kind of era, like very no makeup, which I'm fine with it. I don't mind. And hair, like very
Right.
relaxed, and she's wearing, and like even the pose is very relaxed, We see these images where they're inspired from which era, but okay, so and so what are we saying in 2025 on this? There's nothing to say.
And that's the problem. I feel like, and people talk about this. People have spoken about this online, where people these days are almost like anti-intellectual, where people don't want to think, and people don't actually want to consider things. They just kind of want to be shown stuff, and they don't have to think, and then they move on. And I think if that's the way things are going, things are only going to get worse. Because when you look at an
I
image
agree
like
with
this,
you.
you
Yeah.
don't think. It's just there's not. I'm looking at Alex Consani's face, and that's it. So it's like there's nothing to really talk about. There's no conversation. There's no storytelling. So you just move on.
I mean,
It's
you don't
like
even
very
really see the piece of
forgettable.
clothing, to be honest, in
It's
a way.
very forgettable imagery. Like in 5 years
Yeah.
from now, no one is going to be like, do
Ah,
you
yeah,
remember
yeah.
that Alex Consani editorial where she was wearing blue jeans, a white, like this here? Do you remember that
Yes, I remember
editorial
that.
where she was wearing blue jeans, a white shirt, and Michael Ryder Celine? Like, no one is going to remember this. It's so
Yeah.
forgettable.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. And so many other editorials. Like sometimes I
And
have a hard time remembering them because nothing stays in my head, It's just like but this is not a good sign.
And it's even worse because the context here is that this is Vogue. So
Yeah.
Vogue has access to any clothing they want. They can pull anything. So it's a choice. It's not like they can't get certain. It's actually a choice.
Yeah.
Like they looked at everything and they were like, this fits best. That was the decision that someone made. That's what makes it worse.
Yes.
Because most people, their issue is that they struggle to get exactly what they want. That's not an issue that Vogue has.
Yeah, for sure. And it's ironic because Vogue used to be, well, in the past, a revolutionary magazine. Also, in the beginning, it was also something that was bringing, but now we're very far from that. Now we
Yeah,
have,
of course. Like you look at the Diana Vreeland covers and all that sort of stuff, and it's like
yeah,
night
yeah,
and day. It's like
yeah,
insane.
yeah.
I always wonder, like, is it that they can't make covers like this now because of the climate? What do you think would be the response to like a cover like that? I feel like people would have a really positive response
Yeah, for
to like
sure. I
this
mean,
like
I think people love seeing interesting things. I can tell you a very simple example. Even when you're dressed very well, you go in the metro, people are looking at you. You can see they're like, it's inspiring. It will never stop being inspiring. So
right.
what is the fear behind that they're not going to buy? I mean, it's not even about buying at this point. It's about inspiring. In the end of the day, people are going, especially women, they're going to buy bags, as we said, and shoes and accessories mostly. And some few people have taste and will buy very nice clothes, and some other people, they will buy, quite luxury. And that's the end of the story. It's like it more or less, it's pretty much defined. Very few people are going to buy like Margiela or Rick Owens or, interesting pieces from Loewe. How many people you see like this? But it doesn't mean we shouldn't put them out there, or we shouldn't put interesting images to inspire. You inspire in general, not to dress necessarily. It's an inspiring image. So I don't know, do these images like with Consani or other images like that, do they boost sales really? Does it serve them at least? I don't think so.
That's
I
what
mean, does it? What
I
is
don't get it. I don't get like when you look at this is obviously Richard Avedon like photography,
Yes,
but it's
yes,
like when you look at the imagery, it's so memorable.
yes.
It just like stands out, and it's just I just don't understand why people don't decide to make more interesting more interesting styling and shoot better photography. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I really don't think that it makes them sell more clothes by following that strategy. I really don't think so.
I think making photography like this and styling things like this actually would sell more. More
Me too.
inspirational, it's more
Exactly.
memorable, it sticks in
Yeah,
people's heads more.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know who decided that everything needs to be better. I don't know who decided that, honestly.
It's a good question. I don't know neither.
This YouTube channel runs on your support. If you want to support the channel, you can subscribe to my Patreon. You'll gain access to exclusive content that includes everything from my Patreon podcast, where I give a behind the scenes insight into the fashion industry, as well as a fashion book club where I review my favorite fashion books. You can also check out my fashion ebook, which highlights the best fashion journalists to follow, definitions of common fashion terminology, and how to determine what a good source of fashion information is. The links to everything are in the description below.